Hello nerds and welcome back to another Top 10 Nerd video. My name is Connor Monroe and yes, I still work here. No matter how much you hated my Hulk video, I'm still kicking around. Speaking of that video, prepare to be triggered by another, since today we're talking weakness. Be sure you like and subscribe for more daily nerdy content and hit that bell with some kryptonite. Let's get into triggering you all with our list of the top 10 superheroes who are weaker than you think. Number 10. Wonder Woman. Wonder Woman is a staple for feminism, and a badass in many ways. She prevents DC from being a sausage party. She has always been portrayed as someone who doesn't take from anyone and isn't afraid to break some necks if she needs to. So why is she on the list? Not because overall she is weaker, but because of one specific weakness which is actually absurd. The original Wonder Woman was not created to be what I just described. In actuality, she was meant to be the opposite. Her creator strongly believed that bondage was the key to a healthy relationship and tries to include it in as much of his comics as possible. What I mean by this is that she has a weakness that makes it, if a man binds her hands together, she is rendered completely useless. Not because her hands are tied, but because of Aphrodite's law. When an Amazon girl gets her hands bound by a man, she becomes weak as other women in a man-ruled world. Oh my god, why is this real? Why? Number 9. Thor. Thor is a god. The casting of the MCU hit a home run when casting Chris Hemsworth as Thor because he looks believably mythological. Thor's godliness does make him a force to be reckoned with, but not as some fans might believe. It takes a lot of effort to bring the Thunder God down, let alone destroy him. However, by another god, Thor can be harmed, even irrevocably. And if you're not as well versed in the comics, this can also be shown in the MCU during Thor's fight with Hela in Thor Ragnarok. But his greatest weakness is losing his hammer. In the MCU, this isn't so much of a weakness as a plot point, but in the comics, when Thor loses his hammer, a huge chunk of his strength goes with it. In his early days, if Thor was separated from Mjolnir, he would be depowered to the level of an average human. Even recently, when Thor is apart from his hammer, he loses a great deal of strength. Thor and Mjolnir are like a codependent couple. They can't be too far apart or they have nothing to live for. Number 8. Power Girl. Power Girl is a fan favorite in DC Comics. Superman's cousin from another reality and someone whose creator must have been proud of. She's best known for her personality and leadership skills, and I mean personality literally here. Her powers are more or less the same as Superman's, minus the weakness to kryptonite, since she comes from a different version of the planet Krypton. So what did the creators do to balance this out? Give her the dumbest weakness I've seen so far. Power Girl has a weakness to natural elements. This meaning any raw, unprocessed natural materials to be exact, which essentially means she's weak to water, dirt, and air. She can stop a bullet, but blow in her face or throw a rock at her and she's dead. Basically, the whole planet is her kryptonite. Earthnite. Earthenite? Earthenite? Who knows. But that's fine, since DC has ignored this weakness for the past decade. Why would they do that? Number 7. Captain America. The leader of the Avengers is the ultimate man, the moral center of the Marvel Universe. Yet even after all of that, he isn't as powerful as the Dorito-like physique of the beautiful Chris Evans would have you believe. Thanks to his super serum, Cap is stronger, faster, and more durable than the average soldier, yes, but that's it. His moral compass can at times prevent him from making decisions that need to be made. Even if he is the ultimate man, he's still a man. During the death of Captain America arc, Cap was killed with a regular bullet. The serum turned a wimpy, asthmatic kid into a hunk and a hit with the ladies, but it didn't work any other miracles. Actually, based on experience, being a hit with the ladies is a miracle. Number 6. Superman. When you think overpowered, I'm pretty sure most of you will think of Superman. This blue boy has exhibited every power under the sun during his lengthy history with DC. However, he still isn't unbeatable. Obviously, kryptonite is the most common weakness, but he also has a weakness to magic. There's also gold kryptonite, which will strip Superman of his powers permanently, red kryptonite, which removes his morality, and pink kryptonite, which turns him gayer than my roommate. There are many more kryptonites that do other things as well, but this is only a handful. Furthermore, Superman can get beaten down by other Kryptonians or more powerful beings. He can feel pain too. It is possible to hurt Superman without kryptonite. Additionally, he can even hurt himself by exhausting his powers so much that they deplete and he's just Clark Kent. There's also the red sun to take into account too, which whenever it's convenient, everyone seems to have a simulator of. Honestly, how does everyone have a red sun simulator? Number 5. Mr. Fantastic. It's honestly a shame that Fantastic Four movies get worse and worse. The Fantastic Four is an incredible band of superheroes. Their collective mythology is massive, their villain roster is impressive, and they've been a vital part of the Marvel Universe for years. However, they are impressive as a group. Individually, they all have their uses, yes, but Mr. Fantastic's use is niche at best. list. If we ignore his ability to stretch, what can he do? Yes, Reed Richards is intelligent and considered a genius, however he's always been portrayed as a kind of mad scientist whose ideas and ambition exceeds his ability and he isn't able to control the results. He has attempted to do many things in the past and they don't always pan out. And when he made the Thor clone alongside Tony Stark, that was just stupid. Yes, he's smart, but he's dumb. And what can you really use the ability to stretch for alone? Like bringing someone toilet paper when they run out, getting a cat out of a tree, Georgie out of the sewer? List the ways you think Reed could use his powers, be them ridiculous or not, in the comments below. Number 4, Captain Marvel Jr. Captain Marvel Jr. is the sidekick to Captain Marvel, more commonly known as Shazam, Freddie Freeman. However, while he may have the ability to fly and such, this hero cannot introduce himself without being transformed back into his crippled orphan form. This must be really awkward at parties. Saying Captain Marvel Jr. is actually what transforms him from Freddie Freeman to Captain Marvel Jr. This weakness is so apparent that in earlier issues, other heroes didn't even know this guy's name. He'd just be called Lightning Boy or something. Even worse than that, instead of using the opportunity to ditch this stupid name, the writers decided to change his name to CM3, since he's the third most important member of the Captain Marvel family. This also includes Uncle Marvel and Hoppy, the Marvel Bunny. CM3 is arguably an even worse name, since now he sounds like a douche every time he says it. Number 3, Doctor Strange. In his early days as Sorcerer Supreme, Stephen Strange was more powerful than not. There always seemed to be a spell for this or a magic artifact that he could summon at a moment's notice. However, since then Marvel has scaled it back to keep his powers more grounded and not an ex machina. These days magic works differently, and in the great words of Rumpelstiltskin, magic always comes with a price. This adds a great deal of weight to the decisions that Sorcerer Supreme has to make. When trying to do one thing, another thing will happen simultaneously. For every reaction, there is an equal and opposite reaction. Recently during Damnation, Stephen Strange tried to restore the destroyed city of Las Vegas to its former glory. What did it cost? Everything. Well, not exactly. He did, however, bring Mephisto and almost the entire realm of hell to Earth. Is that why the summer was so hot? Number 2, Batman. I can actually hear the torches being lit, but Batman can defeat anyone with enough prep time, or it's Batman, you may be thinking to yourself, and you may be correct. But what if the battle happens out of nowhere? And what if they attack Bruce Wayne? Sure, he is a master of every martial art under the sun, and DC has made some pretty outlandish excuses for how Batman survived the encounters he definitely should have died in, but he's literally just the guy in a suit that's supposed to make him look like a bat, but in reality just makes him look like he's having a fun weekend. If Doomsday was to show up and beat the living crap out of Bruce Wayne at some dinner party, it won't matter how broad his shoulders are, he's dead. D-E-A-D, dead. Batman's greatest ability is plot armor, and because he's honestly the most popular superhero, it's not gonna stop. When Batman fought Darkseid, the Bats was disintegrated and turned into a skeleton, but he was sent back in time. He's just a dude with daddy issues who needs to sit down, put on some YouTube, and have a glass of whiskey. A very tall glass. Number 1, the Hulk. This one's for all of you who love the video about heroes stronger than the Hulk. That's right, he's number 1. He is weak. Allow me to explain. Sure, no weaknesses are apparent with the Hulk, and they aren't really associated with him, like how Superman is associated with kryptonite, but he does have several weaknesses worth a mention. He is known for being indestructible, but this is just not the case. To begin, he has a weakness to adamantium. This could just be chalked up to the strength of adamantium, but either way, Wolverine has been able to cut, scratch, impale, and injure the Hulk using his adamantium claws. Speed Freak was also able to slice Hulk's stomach open with an adamantium blade. The only reason Hulk survived is from his healing factor. But even with that, he healed around his fingers. He had to rip his fingers out, reopening the wound to get the use of his hand back. Plus, Hulk has his own transformation to deal with. That makes him even more powerful. Claw comes from a place of sadness and depression. And when Luke Cage punches Hulk into a wall while being controlled by Scarlet Witch, Hulk gets saddened by the betrayal of a friend hurting him and turns into Claw, making him the Hulk's Hulk. So clearly it isn't as strong as it gets, since it can get worse. And don't forget how Hulk loves puppies. That's also a thing that happens and manages to turn him back into Bruce Banner. To think that Hulk and I can be brought to our knees by a litter of pugs is just heartwarming. Like those pugs. There we have it, friends, the top 10 superheroes weaker than you think. If anyone didn't actually get triggered by this, let me know in the comments section. And while you're down there, if you haven't already, be sure you hit like and subscribe to stay up to date with our daily nerdy content. And ring the bell so YouTube lets you know when we upload next. I have been and shall remain Connor Monroe, not Doctor Strange, and I'll see you in another video.